Question 17, this is the very last one. It says, let f be the function with first derivative given by this equation. How many relative extrema does f have on the open interval from -3 to 1? So again, this is the first derivative. Relative extrema, all right, relative extrema come from the critical points of the first derivative. So essentially figuring out where this function equals 0 and making sure that it changes sign at that point. So as long as it changes from positive to negative or vice versa, then it will be a relative extrema. So if I can graph this in my graphing calculator and figure out how many times it crosses through the x-axis on this interval from -3 to 1, then I'll be good to go. So I put it into my graphing calculator and I started to graph it. The problem that I encountered, however, was that when I graphed it first, I got this, which was a nice viewing window, all right, but over here it kind of got a little blurry. So I'm not going to be able to get all of the maximums and minimums in there and get all of these high and low points over there. So I changed my viewing window a little bit so I could zoom in a little bit more. And again, I'm only caring about from -3 to 1, but I changed it from -3 to 3 just so that I could get a zoomed in picture of those places where it crossed the x-axis so that I could make sure to count them all correctly. So this is what I got when I zoomed in a little bit more. So again, I can't see the maximums and minimums that are here, but you get the point that they're there because we saw it when we were zoomed out a little bit more. So again, remember, our question, is asking if this is the first derivative, where does my original function have relative extrema, and how many of them does it have? So relative extrema is anywhere that the first derivative equals 0 and the graph changes from one side to the next. So this is from positive to negative, which means this is a relative extrema. This is from negative to positive, so this is a relative extrema, happens to be a minimum. This would be a maximum. This would be a minimum. This would be a maximum. This would be a minimum. And then it kind of stops right there and it goes off of the page, so we don't care anymore about what happens over there. So if I count up how many relative extrema it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because it crossed through the x-axis 6 times in this interval from -3 to 1. So that answer choice would be D. 6 times that it crossed through, which means there are 6 relative extrema for this problem from -3 to 1.